Good morning. It's a small sample of matches yesterday from the elite leagues. It looks as if there were some real trading angles. Nottingham Forest against Tottenham Hotspur, going back to failing to score for Nottingham Forest. This looked like a banker all day long. Now Richarlison is back for the Spuds. All they need now is Glenn Hoddle in midfield and they'll be sorted. Indeed, Richarlison scoring the first goal at the end of the first half. So no real trading angle allowed there. We could have done with that goal coming in from Nottingham Forest. That would have produced a later draw, I suspect, second half. Kulusevski getting the winner. Red card, immaterial really, 20 minutes to go. Sides of this size, like Arsenal and Tottenham, have a plan when down to 10 men, and they usually able to cope, particularly against a side not in the greatest of form. Nottingham Forest really missing Awoniyi at the moment. He's not fit yet. Where is he? Groin injury for Awoniyi. They need him back desperately. He is the kind of player who will get at least a goal for you at his best. Monaco and Lyon. Well, look at the drift for Monaco. Did Bet365 know something? Very interesting. We saw last week the market put Lyon as 1.8 favourites against Toulouse, and they won 3-0. Lyon also threatened a mini revival with that 0-1 win against Rennes. So dependent on the timing of this goal would depend on the kind of trade you got stuck in with. At any case, if you're looking at a 0-0 at half time and a 1.8 the favourite match, well, a drifting 1.8 the favourite, you could have laid the draw second half. And I suppose it's one of those where if you had a stop loss, you'd have been out with a 2/3 of liability returned, a third of liability loss. Or if you stayed into the death, as I do suggest, if you're using specialist staking plans which allow you to stay in until the death. Lay 1 to 4 staking plan allows you to do such a thing because it's loss retrieval. So for example, putting the match here, and it would have been a successful match. 85th minute goal would have been a successful lay. So this lay 1 to 4 staking plan. If you want more details, do let me know. It's just an additional string to your bow. It does include loss retrieval. So if you're not comfortable with loss retrieval, albeit this is very gentle loss retrieval, you just increase stakes marginally. Now £10 as a proportion of 100 is far too big because you've got to factor in the liability. So if that liability gets lost, that's a quarter of your bank lost. So this is for illustrative purposes only. The bank size just fits in, but it shows you the potential we have. So if you want to just increase your bank size to cover the liability cost, particularly when you're up to £40 and you're really in loss retrieval mode, as you see here, we had minus 86 quid. So more on that in the live chat webinar, perhaps. Let's get back to last night. So Monaco-Lyon. If you laid the draw second half and the goal came earlier for Lyon, you would have had what I call a flat line where the draw odds won't move because they're expecting a Monaco goal. But this is a sign that Lyon are potentially coming back into a bit of form. I don't understand why they're 18th in the league. They were quite a big side, Lyon, in France. Maybe they've got rid of some star players. Maybe there's financial issues. We've seen the likes of Sampdoria implode in Serie A, now Serie B. It's very strange. Villarreal, not Villarreal, Sevilla. Yeah, Sevilla, Villarreal, Valencia, gone through a hiccup season where it seemed as if they've just forgotten how to play football. So these things will happen. Lyon look to be back. They've got 9 points in recent matches. Mönchengladbach and Werder Bremen. Well, another 2-2. Werder Bremen did score 2 goals against Dortmund, didn't they, away from home? But they don't tend to have a winning record, which suggests to me Werder Bremen gettable if leading. Mönchengladbach, as I reported, 3 consecutive home wins. I didn't know that. So that was a good angle. Werder Bremen opening goal. Brave amongst you, or the speculators amongst you, could have got involved in a half-time market. Again, in these videos, we're looking at the absolute ideal, aren't we? This is if it all fits perfectly. And there we go, Mönchengladbach. This is as expected. A 2-1 because they're in such good home form. There's always that menace about Werder Bremen that they could score 2 goals. Well, they did in the 76th minute with Jack Duckworth from the Rovers' return getting a 2-2 there. Kramer versus Kramer, couldn't do anything about it. And Kramer versus Kramer yellow carded in the end there. So good, a good trading match from a first half perspective at least. I don't think I would have laid Mönchengladbach 2-1 up. Genoa and Juve, good result for Genoa this. The old lady should have been eyeing 2 goals yesterday. They did score first, 28th minute, Federico Chiesa penalty. Now, people like Stephen Francis will alert you to this. When we see goals like penalty, own goal, just treat it with a little bit of disdain because oftentimes it's not a deserved lead, is it? It's a lucky lead. But that, for me, would be more applicable had the Genoese opening goal, been a penalty. Not necessarily the old lady. I wouldn't necessarily have laid Juve leading. Might have done a drip lay of the draw late on. Bring on the cavalry. As you can see here, maybe the manager underestimated Genoa yesterday because I suspect the vast majority of these substitutes are usual first teamers. And there's no European excuse for Juventus either this season. NEC Nijmegen and Fortuna Sittard. When I see matches with 2 red cards, I do tend to be a little wary. Red card coming 24th minute. And a quick NEC Nijmegen advantage. Did you get involved in a half-time market? It was a 1.91 favourite. Depending on the size of the draw odds, you could have laid the draw here as soon as the red card came in. I normally wait to see the reaction, but that's difficult, isn't it? Because it's first half. You could have had a proper go, and just laid the draw in the expectation that with 75 minutes, my Carol Vorderman maths is leaving me there. 65 minutes. With about 66 minutes to go. Logic dictates the possibility of NEC at least getting a goal. They got red carded as well. Once you get 2 teams red carded, I tend to abandon the match. So possibilities there with that red card being the influence. That's why you should have Football 24 up when you're trading on your own to alert you of this. Osasuna, Rayo Vallecano. Well, I did say that draw sequence. Far too many 1-1 draws throughout both of these. Rayo Vallecano sick of the sight of a draw. Osasuna sick of the sight of a draw. So what are you going to do? You're going to lay the draw second half, aren't you? Now, this is the beauty of it. Again, if you're staying in to the death, this will encourage you to stay in for the whole 90 minutes. What won't encourage you is seeing your stake turn into a red screen. That won't encourage you. But if you did lay the draw, stick with it. Because I did say in the research, a number of 1-1 draws. Rayo Vallecano was at 6 draws in the last 8 matches or something. An appalling set of draws. Take the draw on. These two sick of the sight of it. Now, had that goal come a bit earlier for Osasuna, given the 1-1 record, you would have been well placed to cover that 1-0 scoreline by laying over 1.5 goals, backing Rayo Vallecano +1, sitting back and hoping Osasuna will create yet another 1-1 draw. This is all about context, isn't it? Consecutive draws for both sides. They're sick of the sight of them. Lay that draw. You could have drip laid as well, 1.25 odds and lower, having read the research. And I'll just take you to that research because the clues are there for you. So please do make use of them. So let's have a quick look at yesterday's Osasuna research. Now, I didn't do a deep dive spreadsheet for Friday, not enough matches, but I've got one done today, and that has a category about the draws. Now, we're going to have to wait too long for this, so have a look at yesterday's research for Osasuna Rayo Vallecano. Westerlo, odds on favourites, and again, their odds dropping markedly, 1.75 to 1.62. I'm not sure there's a strategy in looking at Bet365 draw odds shortening, because that's just the opinion of a bookmaker, isn't it? Sometimes they're not accurate. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals is the usual in the Premier League 2 and Professional Development League, where we've got both teams to score. We got over 2.5 goals on 2 occasions, and we got the hint of over 2.5 goals here, depending on when that 1-1 was, because that red card would have that red card would have helped, I think, the over 2.5 goals if you got out at half time. I like to try, if I'm playing over 2.5 goals, I like to get it all done and dusted by half time. So for me, a major factor in an over 2.5 goal play is the abundance of first half goals. You see that here. You see that here. Even just the 1 goal, depending on the time of it, if it's in the first 5 minutes, you've got the hint that over 2.5 goals will come in, and quite easily. We've got over 2.5 goals, Birmingham, Coventry, and I showed you in the review preview video. Just have a cursory glance at their recent matches in the head-to-heads, and if you've got an abundance of goals, an abundance of both teams to score, and get stuck in. You could go a bit deeper and look into first half goal patterns as well. Bundesliga 2, Paderborn. Well, it was there, wasn't it? 1.57, the favourite. Job done. Red card. Well, that came at the beginning of the second half, and that pretty much did for Hansa Rostock. But already Paderborn scoring first. Schalke and Greuther Fürth. Greuther Fürth having a good season. Schalke trying their hardest to stay in the Bundesliga 2. When did the red card come here? Well, Schalke taking the lead. Could have been a possible angle in here, because we did a little dip into this match yesterday, didn't we? Greuther Fürth 4th in the league. Have a look at the standings. Competitive? Well, a 3rd now with that extra point. So having a good season. When you look at league positions in December, it's a good indicator, isn't it? Because we've got a number of matches under our belts. We've got August, September, October, November, December. All of these months worth of football. So it's not lying. The league position is not lying. So Schalke leading, possibly gettable. Schalke leading again, possibly gettable. Red card, possible late lay of the Desmond Tutu. Again, using drip lay at 1.25 or lower keeps your liability low. Gives you a good opportunity for a possible 10-1 return. So some good angles yesterday. And as ever, with the Eerste Divisie, you know the drill. Over 2.5 goals, both teams to score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them yesterday. A couple of 2-0s, and just that one let us down. So you're going to get a good run for your money with over 2.5 goals and both teams to score in this league. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them in the Eerste Divisie. Just a bit of fun on a Friday. I do the accumulator. It's come in on a couple of occasions, and it really does pay out very well indeed. Elsewhere, not much else. Real Oviedo and Elche, possible Desmond Tutu. Depends on the way the match progressed. Did it go to 2-2 or did it go to 3-1? It went to 2-2 here. So you could have laid the late Desmond if you fancied it. I suppose a late number of substitutions could have been an indicator to get involved. At any case, if you get involved at 1.25 odds and lower, you're limiting your liability. You know your maximum payout liability-wise. Mickey Mouse, FIFA World Club Cup. Al Ittihad losing to Al Ali, even with a red card. Al Ittihad probably a biased market. Karim Benzema missing a penalty. Oh, poor Karim. Well, I wouldn't say poor. I think he's making a couple of quid in Saudi Arabia. So on to today. It's a busy, busy day. Live chat, webinar, everything else at Footballtradingprofits.club. And I must just thank those of you who've provided me with a little bit of feedback. It's under the general section here. Feedback required. Thank you very much for those of you providing feedback. I want to just marginally increase monthly subs to cover Footballtradingprofits.club because it's coming out of my own pocket at the moment. And having lost my job at Canonbury, writing job, I do need to maximise my income. So thank you for those of you who responded. It seems that you like the Mighty Networks community site and you're amenable to a very marginal increase in monthly subs to cover the cost of this, which is good. So thank you very much for that. Let's have a look at the research today. You'll see it under research for football trading profits. Give it a click and it will open up the section here for you. Give that a click, opens up your own page here. So let's have a quick look through. Bournemouth against Luton, 1.44 Bournemouth. Well, in the form they're in, scoring 2+ goals in 5 consecutive matches, Luton Town may have to wait. No strong pattern for Bournemouth at home, though. Only 2 wins for Luton, 3 consecutive defeats. They conceded in the last 16 matches, so take on any 0-0 at half-time. No win against the top 13, home or away for Luton. Luton are going back, I'm afraid, to the English Championship, unless they can sign Leo Messi or a couple of other big names. I think Neymar's got something to do, hasn't he? Favour Bournemouth on the current form. It's an obvious choice, isn't it? Form-wise, it's an obvious choice. But as ever, we're reactive traders. We are on hand in case Luton score first. Or if it's a 0-0 at half-time, we'll already have our angles. Chelsea against Sheffield United, 1.22 for Chelsea. Problem with Chelsea from a trader's perspective is unreadability. When you're a trader, you want patterns. 3 losses in 4 for Chelsea came away. Fair enough. Draw, loss, draw, win at home. And if we extend that back, they're doing something like a draw, loss, win kind of a pattern, which is indicative, isn't it, that they just can't get consistent positive patterns working. 2-2, 0-2, 4-4, 3-2. Wow. Lots of goals. Conceded in the last 9 of Chelsea. Can Sheffield United take advantage of that? Sheffield United's modus operandi will be to nick a 0-1. Keep it 0-0 at half-time. Try to nick a 0-1 and then get a 10-man defence working. Sheffield United, though, have conceded 2+ goals in all bar 1 away match. 8 goals conceded in the last 15 minutes. So it seems to me that Sheffield United, the Blades, like they did with Man City, they had the 0-1 lead. They just can't last out. So that could be something to look at today. Do prepare yourself for a possible unreadable Chelsea. 7 goals in 2 matches against 18th and 19th for Chelsea, though. Does augur well today. This could be a redemption match for Chelsea, get them back on the winning foot. Man City, certainly, last week against Luton, target that as a redemption match after 3 draws and a loss. Got their win coming from behind, so it's a very nice profit to be had. 4 out of 4 defeats for Palace against the top 5. They failed to score 2 goals against the top 11. So we would embrace a Crystal Palace opening goal today because it doesn't seem as if they will follow up. 1.14 suggests all sorts, doesn't it? Goal before half-time, 3-0, 3-1. Any other home score for Manchester City. Indeed, they tend to lead at half-time. So if you want some, well, it's not really value, is it? Manchester City half-time, full-time result. Remember that, certainly, if it's 0-0 after 30 minutes or 0-0 after 40 minutes. Possibility for Manchester City to score before half-time. And again, you can employ drip laying into the half-time markets. So this looks as obvious as it suggests, an opportunity for City to come back to winning ways. They do tend to get the match done and dusted by half-time, typically at home. They do score and concede, though, so let's just hope Palace score, because they're unlikely to score a second. Newcastle against Fulham. Champions League, a big distraction for Newcastle. 2 consecutive away losses against Everton and Spuds. 6 consecutive home wins at home. At home. Scored in the last 8. They've scored first in all home matches, so that will negate any trade, alas, if that pattern continues today. 3 consecutive home wins for Fulham, but 3 losses in 4 away for them. No win in 7 away. They look bad on the road. They do score and concede, as they have done in the last 3 away. So let's hope that Fulham score first and Newcastle revert to their usual home winning form. Burnley against Everton. This is a very unique Everton. This is an Everton where I'd only be looking post the 10-point deduction. And there's an immediate pattern. Both teams to score no. Last 3 matches, 0-0 at half-time for Everton. Start scoring second half. And you wouldn't put it past them scoring 2 goals. They got that in the last match and they scored 3 again in a prior match. So that's the modus operandi for Everton, who are outside the bottom 3. It's a hell of an achievement for Sean Dyche, that 10-point deduction. Well done, you. So this is how every team should be playing, really, with this kind of intensity match after match. Must wins for Everton throughout. You'll see it with the likes of Man United fannying about, particularly in the Champions League. Must win And they're just knocking the ball about 90th minute. They're knocking the ball about 60th minute. There's no intensity at all. They need that Everton backs against the wall, must win, must collect points. That kind of mentality is producing the wins for Everton. It's a predominantly second half performance, so watch out for that today. Burnley might be on the end of another tight 0-1 defeat or 0-2 defeat. So watch out. I would be favouring Everton here today. Very unique circumstances. Atletico Bilbao, Atletico Madrid, 2.3 the favourite. Leave that to the in-play stats. Sevilla and Getafe. Sevilla crashed out of Europe midweek against Lens. That was a good trading match. They did get the equaliser. And Sergio Ramos really should have fired Sevilla in front. But if you're looking at your 37-year-old central defender to get you out of the doo-doo, it's really not a good position to be in, is it? 16th against 9th. This is another side like Lyon, having an inexplicably poor season. Usually top 5, Sevilla. Only one win home and away against the top 18. 16th against 9th. Getafe in good form. Only one loss for Getafe since the 27th of September. They're unbeaten home and away against 11th and lower, albeit 3 draws away. 6 out of 9 goals scored away came first half. Just watch out. Getafe might be more competitive than that 1.7 quote for Sevilla suggests. And in recent months, take on the market when you disagree, as we did with Man City. That 1.67 odds, remember? I don't remember who they were playing, but totally dismissive of their opponents. So that was Aston Villa. Yeah, totally dismissive of Aston Villa, having just done... No, they did Man City first, didn't they? And then Arsenal. But at home, Aston Villa at home, Man City 1.67 away. Ridiculous. Take on the market when you disagree. Valencia, Barcelona, 3 losses and a draw in the last 4 for Valencia. Win-loss, win-win draw at home recently. So they're in a good bit of home form. 3 consecutive home clean sheets. But Barcelona have only really lost to the big boys. At least this season, Girona, one of the big boys. Real Madrid as well. Draw, win, draw away for Barca recently. They have scored in the last 15. They're unbeaten in the last 7. 7 out of 9 goals conceded away have come first half. So if Valencia are to land a blow, ideally, they should take advantage of a Barcelona who concede first half. Barcelona do threaten 2+ goals against bottom half sides. Are Valencia realistically bottom half? Normally, they should be top 10. Lecce against Frosinone. Well, quite simply, Frosinone at home are a different animal. Away from home, 5 consecutive away defeats. But we've got a gap in form. They've not met 6th to 15th away. Napoli against Cagliari. Leave this one. It's rather obvious. 3 defeats and a draw in the last 4. This is what I call a redemption match for Napoli. It's like we saw with Man City against Luton. Inexplicably poor form. Not in keeping with a side of that stature. Meeting the right team. The market's telling you opportunity to get back to winning ways. So that's a redemption match. What I call a redemption match. Has a good strike rate because of the need to win. As you do with that Ludogorets Nordland midweek in the Conference League, I believe it was. Need to win. If you only got 45 minutes, can you conjure up a goal, one of you two? Because you will take the winnings if you can conjure up a goal. That's the same with this. Getting to a stage now, no winning 4 is, for clubs of this size, it's panic stations. Torino and Empoli. Well, Empoli mugged Napoli with a 0-1. That's their modus operandi. Try to keep it to 0-0 for as late as possible. Torino, though, are unbeaten home and away against 12th and lower. So watch out for that. 5 out of 7 goals scored at home will come second half. We could see some second half action there. Bundesliga, 2:30. Live chat webinar begins 2:30 as well. Augsburg against Dortmund. Only 1 Augsburg defeat since the 22nd of October. Again, unexpectedly good form. Only 1 home defeat as well. Dortmund are only 5th. Only 3 defeats for Dortmund came within the last 6 matches, and that I put down to possible Champions League distraction. They've only lost to the top 4 Dortmund, so we're not expecting Augsburg to do the job. 7 out of 10 goals conceded away have come first half from Dortmund, so if Augsburg are to land a blow, they should really do it first half. Bochum, Dano and Union Berlin, 2.5 the favourite. Union Berlin putting together a number of winning runs at the moment. which is most unlike Union Berlin. Got that win against Mönchengladbach last week. Or am I getting it mixed up with Freiburg? Let's have a quick look. Union Berlin. Oh no, they got the win. Yes, they did. Win against Mönchengladbach. Really good performance against Real Madrid in a dead rubber. Draw against Braga and a draw against Augsburg. On both occasions here, Union Berlin, the market was giving them a nod, saying, we quite fancy you today, even though your form is woeful. That was even lower. Well, no, it wasn't. It was about evens. And that, relative to Union Berlin's seasonal performances, is a vote of confidence. We've got it here as well. They got the equaliser late, 1.95. So if you see Union Berlin odds suggestive of a good performance, they could perform. Well, 2.63 is giving both sides a chance. So you have been warned. Do please read these previews as well. They have an excellent hot stat at the bottom at soccer24.com. Really solid. Wolfsburg have scored just 5 Bundesliga goals in the second half of matches this season, fewest of any side. Really good hot stats, these. I couldn't pick them up unless I was trawling over the stats manually hour after hour. Darmstadt and the Wolf. Wolfsburg did their best work at home. Only 2 wins for Darmstadt might give the Wolf a chance today. 8 out of 10 goals scored at home have come first half for Darmstadt. So they do really need to score first half to have a chance of an opportunity to get a win. Wolfsburg did beat 15th 2-1 at home and 16th 1-2 away. So how about 18th? We might see both teams to score. 5 out of 7 goals scored away have come first half for Wolfsburg. So yet again, this is a first half match. So normally, if it's 0-0 after 20 minutes, that might give you an angle in to look for at least a goal. Mainz and Heidenheim, 1.65 for Mainz. They did deserve the win latest, but that was a 0-0. They just couldn't cross the line. I think they had a goal disallowed late on. 5 consecutive draws tend to come away. 17th against 13th, Mainz having a poor season. But again, those draws are leaking 2 points on each turn. That's why they're 17th. They've not met 9th or lower at home, so we've got a bit of a gap in form in meeting 13th today. 8 out of 11 goals conceded at home have come second half. And indeed, Heidenheim can score. All Heidenheim wins, though, have come at home. All defeats, bar a 2-2 against Dortmund. 5 consecutive away defeats, conceding in the last 7. Again, an opportunity for Mainz to do something here, but Heidenheim do have a goal threat. Leipzig and the mighty Hoff. We never know what to expect with the Hoff. 6th, largely down to away form. They are brilliant on the road, so that is rather dismissive for RB Leipzig, who have been putting in some very bitty performances. 3 defeats for Leipzig did come away, but at home they are great. That's probably why they're such short odds. Scored 2+ goals in the last 3 home matches. Failed to score 2 goals at least, only once at home. I would be a little cautious here. Hoffenheim are very good away from home. We might get a strong angle. Now, this isn't the end of it, of course. Got the English Championship, English League 1, English League 2. That's going to be attacked via the odds. So I collect odds on favourites, as you'll see in the live chat webinar, which I hope you'll attend. Collect your odds on favourites in the English Championship, League 1, League 2. They go into the My Games facility. Make sure this is on, and you will be alerted auditory. You get an auditory alert whenever the goal has come in an odds-on favourite match. Your job then is to see whether, for example, Norwich have scored first. This is a local derby of sorts, isn't it? If Norwich have scored first, that's a potential angle in. And the reviews, they're getting more previews in lower tier leagues like the Championship. To do take advantage of these previews. Even League 1, which is outstanding. Considering this website's free, the quality of these previews at Soccer24 is absolutely outstanding. Generated automatically. There we go. Probably AI. ChatGPT. At the website, everything you need to know. You've got the deep dive spreadsheet. So have that up and ready. This is an in-depth look in chronological order. And what I would suggest for those of you new to trading or those of you who have limited time to trade your football, this will automatically alert you to the most readable matches amongst the elites. If I put it into time order, which I thought I did. So it's a quite simple data sort, custom sort by group A, and that seems to have done it. Okay, what this deep dive does, it shows you the most readable matches with the most readable angles. You can see, for example, look at the Man City match. Very readable. That's what we want as traders, particularly in December. We started the season way back when. So form now is pretty much embedded. Yes, we're going to have things like the African Cup of Nations in January, but form is embedded now. So these patterns are really good. If you want an individual pattern, 2.5 goals, none today, which is strange. Highly likely there will be organic over 2.5 goal. Hoffenheim matches, Werder Bremen matches, for example, Heidenheim matches, but they just don't appear as a strong seasonal pattern. Goal before half-time, Man City, we know and context. All 5 Bournemouth wins have come since the 28th of October. That context means they're in really good recent form. Half an hour done. I'd better wrap this up. See you for a live chat webinar, 2:30 p.m. at Footballtradingprofits.club. Everything you need is here, the chat, the live chat webinar, the review preview video, which I'm doing now, of course, the research, and the live chat webinar, which will appear in the events section here or in the live chat webinar section here. I do hope you can attend. It's not just me at the live chat. We've got some excellent members contributing some excellent profitable angles. We've had some brilliant second half goal angles, really solid arguments put up by members to do this or that. And they also alert you to potential strategy bets as well that I may have missed out. So do come along, 2:30 p.m. today. I hope you can make it. We're up for, I hope, another profitable Saturday and Sunday. A recent live chat weekend made, for me, £257 clear profit, only from the live chat webinars. So the potential is there. And if you arrived on the 25th of August, of course, you'll have had those 2 100-to-1 winners. So we never know what to expect because we are reacting. We could have a day where you don't get a trade. We could have a day where you get a 100-to-1 winner come in. We don't know. Look forward to seeing you a bit later.